Yeah, we may as well start with RSL. Anything big takeaways from that one after looking at it a little more?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it this morning, film, so we combined again, a little touch on RSL plus looking forward to León. So we had a couple of clips of RSL, a couple of clips of León this morning. Just talk some things through. I mean, like, we didn't create enough chances in the second half. I reflected on, making that change at halftime left us one short, and could I have put Leo Chu and Will Bruin at the end of the game? That's, I reflect on that. Normally I'm more conservative a little bit. I don't like having subs at halftime, especially planned subs. So we went through all of that with the coaching staff, and then for the players it was, what can we do better? Where are these little details that we can, every possession is vital. From the simplest little throw-in to, our playing out from the back on goal kicks, from, the concentration in games to complete simple actions just to extend our possessions, is going to be required for us to get through this final first against a really good León team, and then this stretch of games where every single little detail is going to matter. Players have to make plays, and how do we get them to feel confident, and how do we get them to understand and get everybody on the same page so that it gives them the best chance of making a play in a critical moment.
You mentioned not feeling like you made enough or you created enough chances in the second half. Is that, like, looking farther back? Do you see a pattern there, or is this something? Is it more isolated than that?
I think it's more isolated because, look, our record's still pretty darn good. And we've beaten Tigres and Santos, and we're in a final, and we're still, right there at the top. What I would say, Jeremiah, again, back to the coach's reflection, what we talked about was, we've come with a new formation. And it's always been in my mind that 4-2-3-1 is something we know. Yet we haven't really trained 4-2-3-1 extensively since we've switched to three center backs. And so as the season progresses, there are going to be games when maybe we're behind and I take one of the center backs off. And do we need to revisit that? Because maybe it's not as automatic as I believe. So little nuances like that, just to get, just make sure we're covering all the details to push us through a final in the last part of the season. That's what we did this morning. So it was actually quite extensive. We thought a lot about it yesterday and today, and getting the players to buy in.
So you have, my understanding is you're training here tomorrow, and then you're flying to Vegas. Yep. What was the thinking behind training here as opposed to just getting there?
We couldn't get on the game field because apparently they were changing the sod or the turf, and they wanted to keep it nice for the final. We're going to go through the stadium on a walkthrough. When we land, we'll go directly to the stadium. We'll let the players see. Apparently it's a really cool stadium. So we'll do that little walkthrough. And, normally, in MLS, we train and travel. So they're used to it.
And I suppose you don't get too worried about not having earlier access to the field since León isn't obviously going to have it.
León's not going to be on there either. So, no. It's better to do things here.
I guess, Brian, how big is this week for you guys? I mean, a championship game on Wednesday, and then this weekend you're playing the team that's ahead of you in the standings.
They're all big games for the rest of the year. I actually did, in my spare time, I actually went through, some of the other teams and how is their schedule and how's our schedule, and started circling dates, big games, and I started to do that because it's getting that time of year. So we're thinking about it. The players need to focus on Wednesday.
What does it mean for the club to be playing in another big final?
Well, it means a lot. I mean, I've sat here many a times and said we're a big club. We're the biggest in MLS. We always try and win every game. We've always been competitive in every tournament, or try to be competitive in every tournament that we enter. It's no difference. I think the players are excited. You know, maybe that was part of the problem with RSL. You never know.
What can you say about the team you're facing on Wednesday, León? What can you say about them? What have you
Top,
seen?
very near the top of the standings. Very good. You know, similar to Santos in some ways. Got some tremendous players. You know, I think they'll be up for it. I don't think their travel, I got to check on this, but I think they played a game and then came directly here. I don't think they flew back to Mexico City. So I think they're up for it.
You talked a little bit about Nicolás Lodeiro's status. When do you expect to have an update on kind of where he's at?
Yeah, I'll give you guys the update. Matt and the guys will give you more details. Nico underwent a successful surgery this morning on his right knee. And that was just to clean up some of the things that had been causing him an issue with some swelling over the past couple of weeks.
What's his kind of timeline for potential?
He'll be back this year. I mean, look, when you do a little clean out, look, I haven't got the full report yet. Those guys will give you the full report. But usually when you do a little cleanup there, it's not like it's a ACL type surgery. He will be back. I just don't know the timeline, Mickey.
I saw Jordan Morris out here practicing a lot.
Yeah.
How's he coming along?
He's come along great. I don't think you were here when I said he's on a medical timeline as well. Once he gets a few more full training sessions in, we'll open him up to full training, but he's getting closer.
I don't know if you can assess this, but like, how close to being full into training is he? Is he, you know, I know you said that there's a timeline, but like what percentage of training is he participating in now?
He looks good to me, Jeremiah.
Okay.
He looks good to me. I'd put him in full training, but I'm not a doctor.
Okay. So from the eye test anyway, he looks like he's ready.
He looks like he's ready. He's itching to play. You know, he's a competitive kid. But again, his long-term health is what's most important. So they have to go through that protocol. He has to do all the little exercises he's doing now. He's working hard now, and they'll ramp him up, and then we'll get him into full training. And then as soon as he's in full training, he'll be ready to go.
You know, the idea of being a big club is very much an eye of the beholder type of situation, I suppose. It's a subjective measurement. But in your mind, how important is it to embrace not just playing in a cup, but playing teams that are maybe on paper even better than you, or certainly playing in a league
Larger
that is
payrolls.
larger payrolls? Like, but how much is embracing that challenge and not kind of ducking it and saying like, well, who cares? Who cares?
I don't think we've ducked any game since we've started in 2009, and certainly back not since 2002 when I started with the USL team. I think this franchise has always been successful. The pressure of being a big club, yeah, it's a bit vague. What's a big club? What is it? Is it payroll? Is it money? Is it stadium? Is it play? You know, who knows what that is? But the pressure that we put on ourselves to be successful, that's what makes us a big club. Not being afraid to go play against Tigres or Santos or León or Philly or LAFC or, you know, RSL. I mean, at some point we're going to have a positive result in RSL because we're not afraid. We don't go there looking to, oh, geez, we're going to RSL again. No, this time we're going to do it this time. So it's always the internal pressure that, in my opinion, makes us a big club because we want to win everything.